Welcome back to Endless Journeys. This is our question of the week, where we will tackle real questions from vet tech entrepreneurs, navigating business, burnout, and building something of their own. Let's dive in. Before we get into this week's question of the week, we actually want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Action Vet Tech Services.
AVTS is an RVT-owned staffing, training, and consulting agency founded by Jacqueline Phillips, RVT, based out of North Carolina with a nationwide reach supporting credentialed veterinary technicians.
They offer flexible relief staffing, RACE-approved continuing education, and consulting to help clinics and technicians grow.
So if you're a tech looking for new opportunities or a clinic needing experienced support, definitely check out Action Vet Tech Services.
And now let's get into this week's question of the week. All right, so moving on to question of the week. This was pulled from the Unattached Vet Tech group. Looks like it was posted January 9th. So it starts off by saying, I've been in this group for a couple years now, and me and one or two of my fellow LVTs have been dropping hints about starting our own mobile vet tech company and interested in actually getting the ball rolling. My question is for any gals in here who have done so already in New York, and what the steps are and what roadblocks you encountered. Also looking for recommendations on apps, services to use for appointments/invoices and mileage tracking. Did you have to get a specific vehicle for the services, or were you able to use your own?
Okay.
So this sounds like your territory, Michelle.
It does, but I was hoping that you can chime in on a couple of parts. So she asked about any roadblocks. Jen, did you have, like, even though you don't do mobile, you do relief, but was there any like roadblocks when you started?
As far as like what was gonna stop me from being able to do it at all?
Or just any little, like bump in the road, like a tiny little
I mean,
speed
yeah,
bump or just,
all of it.
yeah.
I mean, for me, yeah, I had to for me, that's why. So there were so many things that when I was first starting my business that I was like, I could do that. Oh, but that could go wrong because that's how my brain works. I mean, even my husband, I drive him crazy because I just think of everything when you bring up something, my brain goes to what could go wrong in that scenario, which drives him up the wall because he's like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? So when I first tried to start my business, I thought of every little thing and I was like, oh, no, but that wouldn't work. Oh, no, but that could go wrong. Oh, that could go wrong. That could go wrong. So what I had to do to get over those roadblocks was to talk to people who were doing it successfully. And that's how I got through my roadblocks, because I knew that I wasn't going to really be able to figure it out for myself because of how my brain works. And so what I did is I just found people who I knew were doing it successfully. And then I would bring up those scenarios to them and they'd be like, yeah, this is what I did to fix that. Or this is what I did to avoid that happening. Or this is what I did, and so that's where I started. So when it comes to things like that, I just, which we talk about later in this episode, of use your mentors, reach out, which is, I mean, it sounds like that's exactly what this girl's doing. She's reaching out on the group. She's asking, because there were so many things that I was like, oh, nope, that wouldn't work. That could go wrong. Just little things that I was like, nope, this isn't going to work. And obviously that didn't happen. But sometimes you have to be talked through those things. And sometimes, like you said, like your brain doesn't work that way, but other people either have gone through it or they know how to figure out how to make it work. So that's what I did.
Yeah. My roadblocks were when I first started, I didn't have a plan, but that also meant I was open to doing anything at any time. And I slowly discovered roadblocks along the way. One of them was scheduling and pet sitting. I don't offer pet sitting anymore because that was a roadblock to the perfect schedule. My other roadblocks were to at least start networking sooner. As I've said this, I think, several times now, I didn't have my LLC and my insurance for the first bit. One of my roadblocks was when a local pet sitter, who is the biggest pet sitter in the area, reached out to me for networking. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like, I would love to have referrals from her. She's huge and she's like the number one pet sitter. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to network. And she's like, well, I couldn't find your business license online. Do you have it? I'm like, well, no, not yet, but I will. And she was like, well, get that and then circle back around to me. And like a week later, I mean, there's two reasons why I got that. Also, I've explained the other reason in a previous episode, but that was a major roadblock. I feel like I could have started networking and started putting myself out there a little bit more because I started off with those things. And then the part that intrigued me is you said there's a couple of y'all, like there's one or two that might be doing this. If I were you guys, I personally would start finding out, and this again is going to come back onto this episode, find out who's good at what.
Mhm.
Find out who wants to do what, because
Yeah.
there's going to be so many aspects of who's the better driver, who wants to do the phone calls, who wants to do the restraint, who wants to provide the services. If
Yeah.
there's me multiple of you guys, like I feel like that would be one of your biggest startup things is having a discussion between the three of you guys in person and coming together and figuring out, hey, I like this, I hate this, I that way you can get all that out of the beginning
Yeah.
or like right away. And there's no, you know, what second guessing or I don't want to say fighting, but like, hey, I want to do
Well,
that and she wants to do
I'm
that, but
like you're saying, make sure that you guys are all on the same page. And also just because you guys are really friends or because you guys are really close, like doesn't mean that that all of you guys are going to be good business partners. So that's something to think about too. Like it can be very it can be very scary to mix business with friendship. So, you it can't automatically just trust everyone. And there's going to be things that need to be brought up that maybe are you're a little bit scared to bring up because you're friends with that person. That all needs to go out the door. If you guys are all starting a business together, then that relationship changes a little bit and you have to make sure that everybody's going to be fair. You guys are all on the same page and you guys all want to agree to to um to manage this business in gosh, what am I trying to say, Michelle? That you guys
organize the circus?
yeah,
No.
yeah.
Is
That
that
you would
good?
yeah, organize the circus.
Okay.
That everyone knows where their spot is, where their strengths are, because again, I think that sometimes when you bring more than one person into a new business, there can be a lot of great things, but there can be a lot of chaos in that too sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, a lot of, especially because you care about the person. And I think we're lucky we met, we
Yeah.
became business partners, and then our friendship has grown more over the
Yeah.
past 7 months now.
Mhm.
Um, and this is the exact opposite. These are friends going in with a plan and a dream. I think they have the dream and they're all LBTs, so I know they have the talent. And assistants have a lot of talent. Sorry, that probably came out wrong. But they're educated and they're going to be talented. They know what they're doing already. They
Right.
just got to organize
Mhm.
and already trying to think of what roadblocks could be out there is a really good start too. So start thinking about that and where everybody's going to fall for
Yeah.
sure. That way
Yeah.
no friendships get ruined because that's also the other important thing. Jobs can come and go, businesses can come and go, but your friendships, you can't replace friends. And even myself, I'm dabbling something with a friend of mine who's a DVM. I will be doing a little bit of work for her here and there, not inside the clinic, but I'm nervous because I'm like, she's my friend. She means more to me than business. So if something were to go wrong, I would bow immediately just so because she's more important to me than, a little extra side money. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, and I can't speak for she said it should they're in New York. That is a whole different ball game to anything that I'm used to. I live in country town and very small town, and so as far as giving advice on working in big cities, I I have no idea.
Yeah. I did talk to another technician a long time ago who was starting up a business in New York, and I do think it was in a more affluent area.
Mhm.
And dude was like, people out here will pay anything. He's like, and he already knew. He walked into his business with a spreadsheet and he was like, these people have unlimited resources. So I hats off to him because he already knew where his area is at and how much he could charge.
Well,
And so I would say certain parts of New York, you could, my God, you could probably buy a car with some of the services. I don't know. I'm outside of Detroit, so that's out of my
right,
wheelhouse too. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Okay, then she goes on to ask about apps. Jen, I know you mentioned a really good app for mileage. Was it Mile IQ?
Yeah. Mhm.
Mile IQ?
That's what I use.
I told you, I was like, yeah, the first year I'm gonna start using it. I haven't used it yet, but to be fair, I've only worked 1 full week, and I'm like, I'm gonna start using it next week.
Yeah.
So I am. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
My
Mile IQ.
IQ is a big one. And then when it comes to like making appointments and invoices, I mean, we've talked about that before. And I know that there's lots of different apps that a bunch of people can use. I I mean, I know for invoices, like people have used QuickBooks. There's also free services out there that I know that a couple of people have used. But gosh, I'm so old school. I make my own invoices, which gosh, when I
Right.
tell people that, they like scoff at me. I've had people
What?
scoff at me or like look at me like I'm crazy and be like, you know that you can just go on so and so and like get invoices for free. And it's like, yeah, I know I could do that, but I don't know. Like, it's also not that hard to make your own invoices. And I've not had any complaints from any of the clinics when I've just made my own invoices on Word or Excel or something like that. And it's free because I like a lot of free stuff. And
Right.
so that's just what I do. But I know that there's so many options that you can just Google it and things will
Yeah.
pop up.
Yeah. I know some of the girls use Time to Pet, I believe it's called, and Cuddles as well. I believe those are popular apps. What exactly they do, I'm not too sure, but I think they do like invoicing and scheduling. They seem to be really popular in the group. So those
Yeah.
also will hopefully help as well.
Mhm.
And
And then
I
the
thought this part
specific
was pretty easy.
vehicle.
Vehicle, yeah. Did you have a specific vehicle for the services or were you able to use your own?
I
You
mean,
used
I
your own,
know how
right?
you are. I mean, obviously, I use my own car for what
Me
I
too.
do. But if I was going to do what you were going to do, I would still just use my own car. When I owned my own nutrition business, I used my own car
Hmm.
when I did
Think
consults with clients.
I think a lot of people do use their own car. Plus, you can expense the gas, the maintenance. I need some maintenance done on critters. I got to get 4 new tires like now, and I'm going to expense that. So you can use your own car. Just double check on the account and what you can or cannot use. Because honestly, I don't know anybody that went out and got a car specifically for the business because it's like, well, my car can carry it all, and if
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, when I started my business, I had my dad's truck. My dad passed away and I got his truck, which was like this big Silverado. It did have the extended cab a little bit, but there was not enough room in there. I started outgrowing it really fast. So I actually returned that or exchanged it in for a basic Equinox because I knew I'd want a hatchback to organize my shelving unit, which is basically just like totes with drawers that are made out of plastic. Like I knew I needed additional storage and I was quickly outgrowing the back seat of that Silverado. So think about that. So if one of you three has a reliable SUV, think about taking that SUV in the back and turning it into your little office because that's what I did with mine. As soon as I open up my hatchback, there's all my supplies. It's color coded, they're organized. And when clients come to my car, they see that I'm organized and I'm professional looking. So that also helps as well. So yeah, I would do that. Look at trying to, if one of you all have a reliable vehicle, like an Equinox or some sort of little, basic car model, I would use that just for convenience because you will outgrow a car and a truck very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
Mhm.
that.
Well, hopefully those answers helped you out and keep them coming. And if any of you guys have any questions or any other comments like that, feel free to send us any of your questions that me and Jen can hopefully help answer.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave us a review and let us know what you think. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms at Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a positive impact in the veterinary world. We need you guys. Have a great day.